Trinity has jumped in the Forbes magazine's annual college rankings.
And students and staff here at Trinity reflect on how state voter fraud policies have impacted voting rights here on campus.
We've got all this and more right now on Newswave.
Audio Jungle.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, September 20th. I'm Nellie Clark.
And I'm Michaela Mendoza, and you're watching TigerTV Newswave.
Forbes recently released its annual college rankings, and there's a familiar name quite high up on the list. Trinity University was named 95th ranked college in the nation, a 32-spot jump from last year. Even more impressively, Trinity has climbed a ladder to number 23rd liberal arts university in the nation based on numerous factors. With its tight-knit liberal arts environment that allows students easy access to resources and the ability to learn with practical experience and the opportunity to work closely with professors, Trinity stands out extremely personalized college experience.
Trinity will be honoring the tradition of Latinx Heritage Month with events taking place from September 15th, a date that marks the independence of several Latin American nations, to October 15th. These events, now an annual tradition for the Trinity community, are designed to honor and encourage the community to engage in the appreciation, listening, and learning of Hispanic and Latinx cultures. This year's celebration is made possible by the collaborative efforts of the Mexico, the Americas, and Spain program, the Student Inclusion and Belonging Office, the Trinity University Latino Association, and more. Be on the lookout for exciting new events coming up, ranging from a book presentation by Juan Tejeda on his personal family memoir and biography of his brother on September 24th to Viva las Americas on October 4th for an evening full of talent, music, and fun during Fall Family Weekend.
Welcome to the soundtrack of San Antonio. Tonight you can find the Cachicara Brazilian trio playing jazz at the Japanese Tea Gardens as the start of their fall concert series. Stay tuned in for more concerts to come, along with food and drink available for purchase at each show. The venue, Paper Tiger, has a few shows coming up, including Chris Travis on Saturday, September 21st, and Big Fun on Monday, September 23rd. The beloved San Antonio band Enoja has a show coming up at the Starlighter on Saturday as well to celebrate the 3-year anniversary of the live music venue. The local band highlight for this week is Kitchen Knives, a proclaimed shoegaze, post-rock oriented 4-piece. Although curated in 2019, they released their first material in 2022. The lead singer, Ben Mitchell, records and releases everything himself. Kitchen Knives has an album releasing in 2025, a conceptual work about, quote, incompatible relationships and failed love. It features synthesizers, heavy layers of drums and guitar, and overall amplified sound in comparison to their last work. Mitchell says that there is, quote, an emphasis on emotion and really being able to imagine yourself standing in the rain while these songs play, like the soundtrack to your own teen drama. That's all the updates I have for you today. I've been your host, Nellie Clark, and I'll see you next time on the soundtrack of San Antonio.
As the 2024 election nears, a question has been on the forefront of people's minds. Where should I go to vote? For Nina Pollock, the lead president of Move Texas at Trinity University, the solution could be a polling place on campus. However, because of the, quote, many barriers put in place that are unnecessary, end quote, she was unsuccessful. Pollock is not alone, as many people report that finding a place to vote is difficult. According to political science professor David Crockett here at Trinity, this is due to recent emphasis on voter integrity. The state government, led by Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton, has been targeting Democrat-leaning counties. Crockett noted that though voter malfeasance is rare because of former President Donald Trump, those who want his favor crack down on voter integrity. However, political science professor Austin Bussing notes that there is nothing new. Although this is not an exact reason for voter integrity programs, Bussing explains that they are expected to make an electoral impact.
Coming up, San Antonio is celebrating Oktoberfest this weekend.
And a top-ranked Texas college is tightening its admissions requirements.
Stick around, Newswave will be right back in 60 seconds.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Get a life in which you're generous. Realize that life is the best thing ever and that you have no business taking it for granted. Care so deeply about its goodness that you want to spread it around. Once in a while, work in a soup kitchen. Be a big brother or a big sister. All of us want to do well, but if we do not do good too, then doing well will never be enough.
Welcome back to Newswave. On Monday afternoon, the University of Texas at Austin made a big announcement about its admission standards. Starting next fall, in-state high school students will need to graduate in the top 5% of their class to gain automatic admission to UT. The university's tightening restrictions on automatic admission have drawn mixed opinions from Texans. Supporters argue that auto-admit has helped provide students across the strait with equal access to the university. Meanwhile, critics argue that it's become increasingly difficult for students to get in well-resourced schools to get admitted. The current threshold for auto-admit is 6%, and the adjustment is intended to accommodate for the record-breaking wave of applicants UT received this fall. According to University President Jay Hartzell, UT received a new record of 73,000 applicants this fall, leading them to make this decision.
A contract dispute over gate allotment in San Antonio International Airport could see airline giant Southwest leave the city. When San Antonio International Airport made their plans to expand, they signed contracts with different airlines over how many gates would be dedicated to them in the new terminals. 2 years ago, the airport agreed to give Southwest 10 gates in the new terminal. However, according to the airline, the San Antonio Airport went back on their agreement when they informed Southwest that they would only be receiving 6 gates. Because of the change to the deal, Southwest decided to back out of the contract extension, which would have kept Southwest in San Antonio for the next 10 to 15 years. Southwest Director of Governmental Affairs, Sherry Hull, said, quote, "We don't see that $200 million in renovations is enough to accommodate the space necessary to grow the projections Southwest Airlines had." San Antonio International Airport officials remain optimistic that they will be able to work out a fair compromise with the airline so they can continue serving San Antonio.
This weekend, for the first time ever, La Villeta in downtown San Antonio will be hosting a free Oktoberfest celebration. This celebration of German heritage and culture has lots to offer for the entire family, including competitions, food and drinks, and live performances. There will even be an opportunity to win a trip to the Great American Beer Fest, where you could have the opportunity to compete against the world's strongest man. While this event is free, there are also opportunities to upgrade to VIP packages. The Sam Adams VIP experience at the historic Koss House includes a traditional German meal, live music performances, and other perks. Another fun and exclusive opportunity is the VIP Oktoberfest Party Boat, which will take you along the Oktoberfest River Parade. Make sure to check out Oktoberfest this weekend at La Villeta in downtown San Antonio for this fun-filled and free celebration.
The San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo has announced their performers set to hit the stage in February 2025. Many well-loved country artists have joined the lineup, including Keith Urban, Zach Top, American Idol winner Scotty McCreery, and many more. The 2-week-long event will offer new artists to see almost every day, with tickets starting as low as $35. Chris Derby, Chief Marketing Officer for the rodeo, stated his excitement for the rodeo, saying, quote, "We invite everyone to come out and make memories, enjoy family, and just have a great time this February." While February is still a while away, you can purchase your tickets now on the rodeo's website, sarodeo.com, or through Ticketmaster. This highly anticipated event will be at the Frost Bank Center and Freeman Coliseum Fairgrounds from February 6 to 23, 2025. Up now, we'll pass it off to Newswave's Chief Meteorologist, Luke Morton, for your weekly weather update. Take it away, Luke.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luke Morton, and welcome to your weather forecast for this upcoming week. We're nearing our high temperature now in San Antonio, currently sitting around 94 degrees. The sun is out in full force, so if you're out on campus right now, make sure you've got your water bottle and stick to the shade if you can. If you're going out this weekend or next week, expect more of the same with highs in the mid-90s. Lows in the high 70s will not last long, as it's projected to reach 90 degrees early in the afternoons. The S in September has stood for sun this year, and I hope y'all are doing your best to stay safe and stay cool. That's all we've got this week for weather. I'm Luke Morton, and I will see you next week.
Still up ahead, we've got details on the suspect in the second failed assassination attempt of former President Trump, and updates on the battle against wildfires in Southern California. All this and more when Newswave returns.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and the strong. Because someday in life you will have been all of these. All of us want to do well, but if we do not do good too, then doing well will never be enough.
Last Sunday, a man was arrested in what is believed to be a second assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. The man, now identified as 56-year-old Ryan Routh, has a hefty record of gun charges behind him, including a long history of criminal and civil court. Court records show that in 2002, Routh was convicted of possession of a weapon of mass destruction, a machine gun. Records also show convictions for carrying a concealed weapon, possession of stolen property, and hit and run. In those cases, which included misdemeanor convictions for violations such as resisting an officer and driving on a suspended license, Routh received a suspended sentence and parole or probation, according to NBC News. The 56-year-old has also publicly expressed his distaste for the former president in the past, talking to social media. In a tweet from June of 2020, he said, quote, @RealDonaldTrump, "While you were my choice in 2016, I and the world hoped that President Trump would be different and better than the candidate, but we all were greatly disappointed, and it seems you are getting worse and devolving. I will be glad when you are gone."
Progress is continuing to be made against the wildfires blazing in Southern California as firefighters are working to control the blaze that began earlier this month. More than 8,000 first responders have responded to the fires, and their hard work has lifted many of the evacuation orders put into place. The largest fire, the Bridge Fire, was 35% contained as of Wednesday after evacuating more than 10,000 people and damaging at least 89 buildings. Other nearby fires like the Line Fire, the Airport Fire, and the Davis Fire are making progress daily to lead to full containment. The Line Fire in particular is believed to have started intentionally by a delivery driver, and arson charges have been filed against the person in question. Now, as cooler temperatures enter Southern California, it is hoped that the weather will aid in the firefighters in their efforts to continue fighting the blaze. We here at Newswave want to express our appreciation for the first responders that put their lives on the line daily to help natural disasters like these, and our hearts are with those affected by the fires.
Last week, a North Dakota judge overturned the state's abortion ban. In a 24-page ruling passed down on Thursday, September 12th, Judge Bruce Romanek argued that the state constitution protects a woman's right to abortion until a fetus reaches viability. In response to the decision, North Dakota's Attorney General, Drew Wrigley, announced that he planned to appeal the decision to the state Supreme Court. A fetus becomes viable around 6 months into a pregnancy, and until that point, Romanek wrote, a woman must retain the ultimate control over her own destiny, her own body, and ultimately the path of her life. Although access to abortion is still largely unavailable because the state's only clinic moved to Minnesota, doctors have said that the overturn will restore their ability to provide abortions in hospitals, particularly to women with pregnancy complications.
When Newswave returns, our sports editor will fill you in on all the stories and scores from around campus, and we'll fill you in on headlines from around the globe. We'll be right back after this short message.
go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Newswave. My name is Caleb Reed, and I am the sports editor for this show. And it was a really busy summer, and we've got a ton to cover, so let's go ahead and jump right on in. Firstly, Trinity football. The team started the season ranked as the number 13 team in the nation, but there were a ton of question marks surrounding the program. Many of the key players from last season, such as quarterback Tucker Horn as well as linebacker Caleb Harmel, graduated at the end of last season, marking a new era for the team. This new era didn't really get started on the right foot, though, as the team was stunned at home with a 35-20 opening day loss. The team rebounded well last week, though, scoring 34 points in the first half of their game against Belhaven to get their first win of the season with a final score of 55-10. Senior defensive captain Tyson Cornett has been a standout with 2 interceptions in as many games, including a 24-yard house call in the second half of the Belhaven game. Meanwhile, on the offensive side of the ball, Lamont Nickelberry has been fantastic in his sophomore season, getting new looks on offense after only playing as a punt returner last year. The team returns home tomorrow, where they will be facing the Washington and Lee University Generals at noon. On to volleyball, the Tigers have gotten off to a mixed bag to start the season. After the team started undefeated with a 3-0 record, they traveled up to St. Louis for a tournament that was just as brutal as it was difficult. The then 5th-ranked Tigers took on number 4 Johns Hopkins, number 9 Claremont Mudscripts, and number 16 Washington University. Unfortunately, the Tigers were beaten in all 3 matches, dropping their record to 3-3 and their ranking to 11th. Trinity would rebound with a strong performance in the Trinity National Invitational, however, responding to a 3-2 loss with a 3-0 and 3-2 victory over Covenant and Eastern, respectively. The team will now be on the road until October 17th, and they start their road trip with 2 weekend conference games against Texas Lutheran tonight in Seguin and Southwestern on Saturday in Georgetown. Both men's and women's soccer had an incredible weekend last time out, combining for 18 goals across 4 games for the 2 teams. The women's team got things started well on Friday with a 1-0 win over UT Dallas, but the team really lit off in their Sunday game. The team dominated Howard Payne University with an incredible 7-0 victory. Alex Duran scored the lone goal for Trinity against UT Dallas, while Abby Schneider, Clara Richards, Isabella Rueda, Ariana Balgobin, and Erin Heath all scored a single goal against Howard Payne. Bree Werner was the only player to score more than 1 goal, making 2 in her 25 minutes against the Jackets. The men, who came into the weekend with a record of 2 wins and 2 ties, got an opening win against Cal Lutheran, earning a key 2-0 victory on Friday night. Louis Instrol and Hunter Kane were the goal scorers on the evening, securing the win for Trinity. And in case you're doing the math at home, that makes 10 goals on the weekend and not the advertised 18. The men would make up the difference in the second game of the weekend, exploding for 8 goals against Howard Payne. Adam Knutson and Kane scored in the opening half, but the Tigers really stood on the throttle in the second with 6 goals. Jason Sukow, Mark Donnelly, Aiden Perales, and Samuel Thies all had 1 in the second half, and Joey Perryman scored 2 more to close out the 8-0 shutout. Both the men and women are on the road this weekend with the men playing up in Belton, while the women will take a 2-game road trip up to Virginia. That's all for me. I hope that y'all have a great weekend, and I cannot wait to see everybody live very soon. Take care.
On Tuesday, a secret plot that was put to halt that involved plans to assassinate Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. According to Venezuelan officials, 3 Americans, 2 Spaniards, and a Czech citizen traveled to the South American country to assassinate Maduro. All 6 of them have been taken into custody, and their arrests were announced on the state television by the nation's Interior Minister, Diosdado Cabello, where he displayed images of rifles that were in the possession at the time of the plot. In another twist to the story, one of the plotters included American citizen Joseph Castena Gomez, a member of the Navy who served as a SEAL in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Colombia. The U.S. State Department last Saturday confirmed the detention of a U.S. military member and stated, quote, Any claims of U.S. involvement in a plot to overthrow Maduro are categorically false. The United States continues to support a democratic solution to the political crisis in Venezuela.
In the Middle East, the Israeli military reported a long-range ballistic missile hitting central Israel and sparking a fire. The missile fired from Yemen sent residents scrambling for shelter, triggering air raid sirens in Tel Aviv and all across Israel. According to Israel's emergency services, 9 people suffered minor injuries when seeking shelter. Despite the efforts to stop the Yemeni missile, it still reached its intended destination of one of Israel's military positions due to a new hypersonic ballistic missile. Quote, 20 missiles failed to intercept it, end quote, says Nasruddin Amer, a Houthi media official on X. These failed attempts to shoot down the missile caused the fire. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had this to say on the situation in his office. Quote, they should have known by now that we charge a heavy price for any harm to us, end quote. Hamas, the Gaza-based Palestinian group, on the other hand, supported and praised the attack, believing that Israel, quote, will not enjoy security, end quote, unless it ends its war in Gaza.
That's all the time we've got for this week.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next Friday, September 27th, for Newswave's first live episode. Until then, I'm Michaela Minoza.
And I'm Nellie Clark. We'll see you next week.